Welcome back to another episode, and we are continuing our 8-year anniversary series here with this lovely backdrop put together by our culture department. And got the last episode here that I'm filming directly with Jake. I think the next time you'll see us together I'll be back in Phoenix, and you'll be out here. So welcome again.
Yeah, thank you. And we're going to be talking about how to measure the customer experience metrics. And it's interesting topic, and you would learn a lot. I know there's so many companies, small companies, who have neglected the importance of the customer experience and experiences. And this is the topic for you.
Yeah, and not just the experiences, but measuring it. It's like they know it needs to happen. They know that they should be doing it, but maybe you don't have the resources. The person that should be managing it is busy training new people, hiring new people, and then doing that all over again, and they can't get out of that cycle. And so this kind of stuff falls behind because you're constantly training, you're constantly adding new people. And so, we're going to be talking about that today. And so what you should get today from this episode is some ideas around how you could measure your customer experience, or what are some metrics that you could be measuring in your call center. And, by the end, if you feel overwhelmed and you're like, I need that, but I don't know how I'm going to do that, I don't have the resources, maybe you should talk to a company like Cactus. But before then, let's see if maybe this is something that you could help for your business, or if you're outsourcing with another call center, then these are some things that you should be doing and measuring. So if not, it's time to start that conversation with that outsourced company. And if it's something you're looking to add on, maybe and to outsource so that you can start bringing it in, then I think either way, you're going to get something out of this episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So let's start with how do we define customer experience?
Great question. Customer experience, the way we look at it is, what is the customer journey from the first time they're interacting with your company all the way to the very end of that transaction. And so that could be that they're visiting the website, maybe they're making a purchase. Jake and I were talking before we hit the record button here that, but I think we've all experienced a really bad customer experience shopping online. You add your stuff to the cart, you spend all this time finding the right products, and then it asks you to make an account. So I'll go make an account, and then your account's made, and now your cart's empty. You're like, I've got to go add that back in. Someone didn't code that properly, and that led to a poor customer experience because that shouldn't happen. So it could be as simple as that, all the way to the checkout process, to when you receive the item, or if it's taxi, like what are some of the things that, what are parts of the customer experience for a taxi customer?
Interacting with the person that they're talking to order a cab. They can sense if the confidence of the person that they're talking to, if it is experienced enough to know and to get the details correctly, and just make sure that it's not going to mess up the appointments that they're going to, and being picked up on time, being picked up in the right place, and making sure that the taxi driver would not miss their location and the time. So those are the things that we would consider that would impact the customer experience.
Yeah. And those are the parts you could outsource that we could help with. And then there's the parts that you can't. You have the drivers. So when they do pick up the customer, what is that experience like in the taxi? All the way to the payment. What if the credit card machine is broken? Oh, I'm sorry, my credit card's broken. Can you pay cash? We've all heard that in the back of a taxi. That's not a great experience. You're a corporate traveler and you need to use your business card, and now you can't because the machine is broken. That's like a red flag for me. And all the way to after the trip's over, maybe you get a text message and it asking you, how was your ride? And you fill out some survey. That whole journey from beginning to end, every time that you're interacting with that business, that's part of the customer experience. So how do we measure that? How do we, because you cannot improve what you don't measure. And so how can you start measuring some of these feel really intangible so give me some examples.
Yeah, of course. To start with, by dialing your number, that's already the number of your company. That means that somebody would want to work with you, to do business with you. So
Trying to spend money with.
so that's already something. So why not from that moment, the person who will answer the call would, would really welcome them by the sound of the voice, being really enthusiastic, like being excited to talk to the person, to talk to the customers. So those are small points that the customers would really put an impact on their experience, and that goes with how experienced the person who's answering the calls, or how experienced they are, and
Are they trained? Are they knowledgeable about the products that are being sold, or the city that you're calling in for a ride in? If you're calling in and you're like, I need to be picked up at this hotel, and they have no idea what it is, and they're like, what's the address? And like, you look it up. That's your job. You should know where this hotel is. I'm in downtown. I'm like, how do you not know where this hotel? I see your taxi out front. You guys drop me off. That is all part of the experience.
The sound alone of the person that they're talking to would also make an impact, like the confidence. And if you're planning to go out the next day and you wanted to make sure that it would be picked up, and especially when you're going to the airport and you have this flight that's scheduled on that time, and why would you call somebody who sounded like they don't know what they're doing, and you would question right after you drop the phone, like, oh, is that really going to am I going to be picked up tomorrow at that time? I'm going to, stuff like that. So that's getting the confidence and of the company would it would require some experience. So that experience would be you can get that from call centers by outsourcing. So those the things that we take care of are the things that we have been doing for 8 years, or
True,
a little more. So
8 years in a couple of days now.
and those are the things that you're gonna get when you outsource. So
but how do you measure that? So, like, how do you measure confidence on the phone? How do you measure that knowledgeable? And I think there's a couple ways you could do that. There's some really basic things you could be looking at, such as how long are the calls? If your average handle time is 2 minutes per call, and you have this one agent that's doing 5-minute calls, like there's a problem there, because the customer is used to 2-minute calls, and now they're calling in and it's spending 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Those extra 3 minutes and 4 minutes, those are painful. You're sitting there like, this shouldn't take this long. Who is this person on the phone? And it doesn't give confidence. Like you said, like that scenario, I've traveled a lot for this business, and I'd be concerned that taxi is not going to pick me up if they didn't give me the confidence that they know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And so handle time is one way, but what are some of the other ways that you could measure that confidence? Because we want to give these guys some ideas on how to do that.
Their interaction, the way the call taker would talk to the customers, and that confidence, and being accurate, and being asking back the right questions, just to lead to finishing up, and getting the right getting the booking done. So that's the experience. That everything should be right in order for the customer to get the good customer experience. So that's the call taker side, and aside from that, there are so many factors that would be considered to get that customer experience done. Like right after the call ends, like if they're gonna call back, doing some little changes, they have to have the consistency that the person who will be answering the call would have the same the same level of confidence. And we going back to the experience, it will lead back to how experienced the person who's answering the call, and and same as the words that they're using. Like if they are waiting their you can't guarantee all the time that, when they call for, when going back to the taxi business, when you call for a cab will be there right away. It just says that there will be delays. Then how are they doing while they're waiting? So if there are calls in between that are being made by the call takers, just to make sure that they're updated, how close is the taxi, where is it, what's causing the delay, those stuff. Those are, there are delays. That's it's already given. But
There's always more people that need transportation than there are vehicles available and drivers, especially not when it's busy, but there's peak times like New Year's Eve. How many people want a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft after the bars get out, on New Year's Eve, or just any weekend, really, after a sporting event, or just during rush hour? People are needing to get home. They're needing to travel around. So that happens. But another way to look at it too, because we're talking about these intangibles, like how do you measure the confidence? How do you measure the knowledge? And another way to do it, which is a huge part of what we do here at Cactus, is QA. Because now you got to standardize things. Like, the call center agents need to be consistent. You need to be like McDonald's and Starbucks on the phone, right? So like Starbucks, I can go to any Starbucks in the world and I expect that coffee to taste pretty much the same no matter what. If I want an iced latte in Phoenix and then I get an iced latte here in the Philippines, because they have even Starbucks here in Dumaguete, believe it or not, they should taste the same. McDonald's, you get a Big Mac in Phoenix and then you drive across country on a road trip and you keep getting Big Macs at other places and fries. They should be consistent. And if not, if they tasted way different in one place to another place, then you're not going to keep going to McDonald's because you don't know what you're going to get. Man, it was really good in that one spot, but over here, that was trash. If that keeps happening to your Starbucks, to your McDonald's, you're not going to keep going back. That's where the opportunities lie for business owners like you guys listening, because you can do better. They cannot get the best. They can get consistent. You cannot be consistent and also amazing, like really, really tasty coffee and really, really tasty burgers. That's hard to do all of those things. So you're going to have to pick which one you want to do. So QA, so going back to that. So QA, that consistency, that's how you do it. It's because they're listening. We have people here, our QA department. How many people do we have in our QA department?
I think we have 5
Yeah.
right now.
So they're listening to calls. They're monitoring emails. They're looking at what are the agents doing? Are they being consistent? So you have to have a script. The agents have to say the same thing every time. And so if you don't have a script, put that in place. But then now, all right, how are they doing on that script? Are they following the script? Are they being friendly? Are they being rude? Did they make mistakes on the call? If you're doing an online order and you need to review the order before submitting it for a purchase, okay, let me repeat, these are the items you're looking to buy. Because if you skip that step and maybe there's a product they wanted that didn't get included, well, maybe there's a product they didn't want that got included. But again, it goes down to consistency. You got to follow the same thing every time. But how do you know that's happening if you're not listening to the calls, if you're not following standards? And so are you guys feeling overwhelmed a little bit? Yeah, is that if they're not doing that in your business, you're like, this is a lot of stuff to put in place. But that's how you start measuring customer, like some of the metrics around what impacts the customer experience.
And that's something that we also offer. So Packbase as that for a QA team. And I would say that we're pretty confident that this, Packbase has been here for a while, and QA has been also been established. And so as the call takers and the agents. So we have built something. We have built a standard of quality. If you don't hear Packbase yet, we've known for good quality of service. So that's one thing that you can get when you're at source. And aside from we talk back about the how to measure the metrics. We It's all been covered by the QA. If anything that there you feel like you want to be added to how we do the QA, yeah, we can definitely do that for you. And other companies are also they have different type of running their businesses, like reduce QA a little bit, like they want fast paced taking those bookings and orders and stuff like that, so we can do adjustments. And yeah, but
it's tailored to your business. When you outsource, it shouldn't be, because if you guys are listening and you're thinking about outsourcing, then it's not like a one size fits all. Like, here's our QA, we're going to plug this in for every business. Even within taxi, even within e-commerce, even within virtual assisting, what we offer here, every client is different. Like, what matters to one business, that doesn't mean it's going to matter to another business. For like, we just are working with a new client that's coming in from New York, and his objective is speed, and he doesn't even have, like, his script is, where do you need to be picked up? Where do you need to be dropped off? Okay, thanks, bye. Like that's his script. I'm like, whoa, this is a little different. Like, but that's what's important to him. And so, like, for us, it's one of the phrases we say, and I repeated to, we had a company meeting this morning with all the staff, and, we focus on what matters most to your business and we deliver. So if it's really, we need to move through those calls faster. Now, there's a certain level where you want so fast that we can't be providing good experience. We might not be a good fit, but there maybe is another set. Like, so if the business needs to be focused on speed, we might not be the best fit, because we're more of a customer experience like, we want to make it a positive experience at the end, by the end of that call. And
yeah, that would depend on how the business works. Like, if the cost in their area, different areas, they have different cultures. Like, people in their area probably don't care about the experience, as long as they get the job, taking them from point A to point B. That's the main goal. So, and they're not after with the some customers that much. Like, they know that customers are really a lot. So yeah, we would adjust to that. But their companies are not really keen with are really keen with taking care of customers and giving them the best customer service or customer experience. Those are the type of companies that would really want to talk to the customers, like the use of with the use of QAs and all this things to make it better. So yeah, there are different types of companies, and yeah, we accept what kind of company you run, and we can make adjustments, and we're here to.
So again, we're talking about how can we measure this customer experience, and so we need metrics around it. And I think there's a couple other areas that we can give our listeners some ideas about on measuring and putting in place. And one might be, some companies will make this even an acronym, FCR, first call resolution. Now, we have some clients that they actually do measure that, they look at that, and others that don't, because maybe their business doesn't have a lot of people calling back. So again, it really depends on what matters to that business and how we're delivering. But yeah, like tell me about your experience with first call resolution. What does that mean? Especially if if you're listening and you've never heard of first call resolution.
First of all, first call resolution is really ideal for customers. Like, I would call it for your business, and get everything resolved with just one call. But doing I would like to put an example with the taxi business. Like, people would do callbacks when when they are not picked up on time, and it went, or there are things that they want to make to do adjustments, and those stuff. But most commonly, we don't want them to call back because they're not being picked up on what we we said that they're going to be picked up like few minutes, being there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. Stuff like that. So they make a call back at the check. So those are the things that we would want to avoid. Another thing that this one call resolution would really help is that when that customer is not gonna call back, you get to entertain another customer.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It takes time to talk to, especially when they're calling back, because that means it's not the normal, talk with, about booking, but it's about their concerns, and it's gonna take a little longer than the usual call. So those are the things. So we need to have those right people who are really trained to be really precise and accurate with the details, and getting the information relayed, getting the right information as well. Like, if they can see how long will it take, giving that to the customer with the correct time. Like, if the customer is expecting the driver to be there in 10 minutes, but the person they talked to didn't really check properly that the truth is 20 minutes. So those are making problems. So these things, the customer experience and
impacts the customers.
It really does.
Yeah. An example that I could not get out of my head, because I won't name the company, but it's a certain internet service provider, the leading one in the Phoenix, that they charged me extra for 8 months. And I stopped calling for a while because I was so frustrated. But what happens when your issue isn't solved? You're going to call back, and you're going to call back. I probably took up like 15 hours of over 8 months of trying to resolve this issue, because every time I had to explain it, the call got longer because I had more issues to explain. They kept, the more I talked to them, the more mistakes they kept making. And, it got to the point where I actually had to involve the Attorney General's office, and that's what finally got it resolved. But it shouldn't get to that. And again, we talk about small businesses versus giant companies. The people listening here, you guys are the small businesses. You exist to outcompete these big giant companies. And so measure your first call resolution. How many times does that customer have to call back to get their issue solved? Because if they're calling back a bunch, they're eating up resources. And like you said, those calls get longer and longer and longer. And now you got frustrated staff because now they got this person on the phone whose issue they can't solve. So it also is, you have to empower your frontline staff and your customer service staff to actually solve the issues. If they don't have the ability to solve those issues, then they're going to keep calling back, and you're not going to be able to get rid of them. Because in my case, they owed me $800. I'm not going to let that go. I got my assistant calling them every day. What's going on? How are we going to get this fixed? So that takes up a lot of resources. Imagine if I really did take 15 hours of time between my assistant calling and me calling every week, and it took an hour for months, then that's a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's how you choose the company that you outsource with. It's there's a different level of your companies. There are you can go with the cheaper ones when it's not really essential to to partner with those when if you want to grow your business. How would you represent your company if you're not, those people that you work with are not doing well? So those are also, you would consider those things. And make sure that you're very careful in choosing the right company that you want to partner with when you outsource. And
measure those first call resolutions. If they're repeat customers over and over and over again, something's wrong. And that could be another metric. And maybe you start out and it's higher. All right, well, let's focus on shrinking this down. But until you start measuring it, you're not going to be able to shrink it. And there could be an issue going on in the call center. You have no idea. If all you're looking at is average handle time, how many calls are being handled, you're not going to see that, wow, why are 10% of our customers repeat calling over and over again? That could be 10% less staff needed to answer the phones, which that becomes a big cost. So,
Yes.
so first call resolution. And then the other one I want to talk about is post customer surveys. So it could be NPS, Net Promoter Score, or it could be just a Survey Monkey link that goes out. But like, tell me, how important is that survey? And also, like, from your experience, how many of our clients are actually doing that?
Yeah, we have a lot because you know how important it is. Because sometimes customers will just say they're not gonna do anything. They're not gonna send feedbacks. They're just gonna walk away. I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna call the company again. True, but if you have that text message or checking on them, how are their experiences while they're using your services, like they have that chance to let you know, and if you know that somebody's not feeling good about how they were treated, you will be able to correct that and save that one customer. So one customer is a lot.
Yeah, because that one of the things that I've learned over time is what's the lifetime value of that customer. How many times is that person going to use your business over the next 12 months, 24 months, 36 months and beyond? And, is it worth it to let that go because you didn't make sure that experience was positive?
Or if you don't know that that customer was experiencing, bad experience,
you don't get the opportunity to fix it.
Yeah. So it's really important to ask them, like, right after the service is done, surveys like text messages or, just send them an email, just to ask them, how was your experience and what do you think should be improved? And, because in between those, the whole entire process, there could be some part of it that's, messed up, like you wouldn't know. And, but, by asking them, getting the survey out, you would know what's going on and what to correct.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we covered a lot of ideas for you guys here on ways that you could measure customer experience. So we talked about QA. We talked about first call resolution. We talked about looking at your call times. We talked about post call surveys or post interaction. Maybe all they're doing is just shopping online. So after the purchase, survey goes out. Not everyone's going to fill that out, but you're going to get a percent and it's going to give you an idea on how you're doing. And then do something about it. Don't just send out the surveys and never look at the data, because then you can't take action. You can't fix problems. And I see that a lot too. So start measuring those, start looking at that. And, if you need a partner to help you out with that for your business, if you're like, I need that, but it's a lot, then look at outsourcing. Cactus is an option. A lot of other options out there, but think about those options. Think about those metrics. And again, there could be people listening that you're just managing a call center. And so think about how you could, with the call center you're currently working with, ask about these things. Hey, what is our first call resolution? What is the, how can we get a survey out to the customers after that transaction? That's what I would challenge you guys to do. So there's some homework for our listeners. And if you guys have any feedback on this episode, send us an email. Actually, email me, Eric@Cactus.com, or you can put some comments on, YouTube or TikTok or wherever you're listening or watching this, and let us know, because we want to be giving you guys some good information and ways that you can improve your customer experience for your business or the call center relationship. And if we're not giving you information like that, let us know, because we want to make this valuable for you here. So
yeah, definitely. So I hope you learn a lot with that talk and that topic. We can provide information about what's going to happen when you do this and do that with your business. So we can talk to you about how would there be outsourcing help to grow. So
yeah. All right. Well, Jake, again, it's always a pleasure. Next time I will see you virtually. I'll be back in Phoenix. So until then, make sure that if you like what you hear today, if you're listening for the first time, make sure to subscribe. You could also catch, if you're listening to us on podcasts and you actually want to see our faces and us talking, you could also find PacBiz Outsourcing. Look for our channel on YouTube and you could watch us as well. But until then, Good luck with all that homework you have now, and we'll catch you on the next episode.